welcome back to our challenge today. I am Dennis Geisler, I have Venonat and Pikachu with me. You're getting into round number 3 for challenge. This is Psycho Turtle in Pico Rivera, California. I'll be having another one next Sunday at noon. All of them start at noon here. So be sure to come out. We have pizza here. That's a nice bonus for you. We have Juilio Rendon and Nate Curl coming up next on this one. Both of them are at 1-1. I am almost certain that no 2-2s are going to make top cut, so basically an elimination match here. Juilio is running Incineroar, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Rapid Strike, Fluttermane, Tornadus, and Landorus. Nate with the... trying to read over the team. Tornadus, Fluttermane, Chien-Pao, Raging Bolt, Entei, and Ogerpon Cornerstone. Some interesting mons on Nate's side. A pretty standard balance core for Juilio, but on Nate's side you do have the Entei Chien-Pao, which is a little less common than the Dragonite Chien-Pao. I think Entei just has lower attack stat, but certainly some benefits over it, and this one's actually not even the Choice Band. It's a Citrus Berry, Terra Grass. So, going to be able to sit around a little bit longer and be able to make use of Sacred Fire, if it chooses to come, which it very much might not. It's not a great matchup here. And then the Cornerstone as well. We've seen a bit of the Cornerstone lately. It's pretty solid. Here we're going to see the Fluttermane and the Tornadus on Nate's side, and Juilio running out the Torn and the Incineroar. So Torn's on both sides. Neither one... excuse me, Juilio's has Taunt, Nate's does not. So one would be able to taunt the other. Both can get Tailwinds up, of course. And Fluttermane would be faster than Incineroar either way, obviously. This is Pixie Plate Fluttermane with exclusively Fairy-type attacking moves, so... would just need to start launching out moves like that. Fake Out into the Torn. It is Covert Cloak, though, so it's going to be able to keep getting work done. The taunt was actually on the Fluttermane, so Fluttermane can't taunt the Tornadus, but still goes for the Moonblast there. Gets the special attack drop on the Incineroar, not super meaningful. And the Bleak Wind comes down, gets the crit onto the Incineroar, not going to KO, but still a ton of damage there. Incineroar will get the Citrus Berry recovery, but I think that still puts it in range of a Moonblast here. Tailwind Moonblast, certainly an option to pick up the Incineroar here. Could also go for Tailwind Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. Potentially try to pick up both of these targets. A switch here obviously would have some benefits for Juilio, but you also have to wonder about how much damage you're taking. I mean, Fairy is just a flat, really good damage type, and the problem is, if Incineroar is down, you don't have anything that takes Fairy-type moves particularly well without investing Terra. And you have to get the switch into actually Terra, so... see what the choice is. Gonna get the switch, Incineroar pops out of there. Fluttermane comes in. That is Specs Fluttermane on Juilio's side. Tailwind on Juilio's side is now active. It's Flutters versus Flutters and Torns on both sides. Dazzling Gleam goes down, does a nice little chunk to Flutter. Will do enough between that and the Bleak Wind to take out the Tornadus. And that means that one side is losing their Tailwind setter. And what's nice is that Nate will now be able to set up the Tailwind himself and have the disjointed Tailwinds to have his up a little bit later. Incineroar will come back out here, and honestly, this is a pretty decent opportunity for just a Tailwind Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. I really like that option from Nate here. You do have to worry about Fake Out, potentially. But if you're able to make it work, it could do really well. You do probably have to Tailwind regardless here. Unless you want to protect Torn and just kind of lose Fluttermane, but I think you want to let Fluttermane get some work done here. And we will see the Terra on... I believe that's Juilio's side. Well, somebody's terrestrializing Fluttermane, I know that much. Get the microphone in my mouth. Okay, it was Nate's Fluttermane actually terrestrializing there. The Moonblast comes through onto the Flutter Mane, gets the KO. Flutter will drop. And Incineroar parting shots out onto the Flutter Mane. So Flutter Mane will be at -1, but -1 for what? With so many of Juilio's Pokemon down, already down 2 Pokemon. I think the Tailwind got up as well. Flutter Mane shakes off the taunt. I'm pretty sure Tailwind got up. I'm gonna pretend like it did. And Incineroar will hit the field again. Of course, do have to worry about the Fake Out, now that Flutter Mane is no longer a Ghost type. But, I mean, the big issue is that Torn is still in a pretty nice spot to just start clicking. I think if you're on Juilio's side, you really have to focus down the Tornadus here. I think you have to expect a Protect and go for something like a Terra Poison Sludge Bomb into the Tornadus. Have to start getting KOs somehow here, especially because you don't even know what's in the back. And this is still a pretty clean lead for Nate, where Nate can definitely switch out later and manage it a little bit if Nate is able to handle this here. We're going to see the Terra on the other end. It is that Terra Poison Landorus, which was kind of necessary in order to handle that. And, yep, that is the Flutter Mane going for the Protect there. Torn will get a Bleak Wind off in that case. The Fake Out going into the Flutter Mane, not going to get anything done. We'll see Torn going next. Bleak Wind misses the Incineroar, will hit the Landorus, does a nice little chunk there. And Landorus does go for the Terra Poison Sludge Bomb into the Torn, does not get the KO. I thought it would get the KO, it did not. And that puts Juilio in a very awkward spot, because Bleak Wind still gets to go down, and Flutter Mane, even at -1, will get a real nice Dazzling Gleam down. Or potentially a Moonblast. Whatever you choose. And yeah, this is an awkward spot. Torn will Protect here. Potentially try to stall out the number of turns it's going to be able to hang around. And Flutter Mane will go for the Moonblast. If it's into the Incineroar, it should be a KO. And it is, and it will be. Incineroar is down as well, and now it is just the Landorus, just the Landorus remaining for Juilio's side. A KO here could be pretty important, though. Will be a KO into the Flutter Mane. That could be pretty meaningful in that you do get to see the final Pokemon on... the final Pokemon on Nate's side, or at least one of the last 2 Pokemon on Nate's side. There is that 1 turn of Tailwind offset, and it is the Chien-Pao swapping in here. So Juilio does at least get to see the Chien-Pao is present. This is the last turn of Tailwind, although it doesn't really matter since Torn is faster than Landorus, and Chien-Pao is certainly faster than Landorus. Torn is going to switch out in any case, so Nate is going to show off all 4 of his Pokemon. There's Entei, the Pokemon fan. Getting a little feature there. Getting to see the Entei. We do love Entei. Chien-Pao going for the Sucker Punch into the Landorus. Not going to KO there. But the problem is that Entei and Chien-Pao both have priority moves, and it will be real difficult for Juilio to really do anything about them. There's the Extreme Speed, good damage in the Landorus, Sucker Punch follow-up, that should be the KO. And Nate will pick up game number 1, mostly through a lot of work getting done by that Pixie Plate Flutter Mane. It's getting so many big Moonblasts and Dazzling Gleams down. I mean, we saw in the last game there's the Terra Stellar Flutter Mane. That does some pretty good damage. Or even just Terra Fairy Flutter Mane we see a lot. But with the Pixie Plate, you're able to protect, but you're also able to just do a ton of damage. You're able to protect and attack, is what I'm saying. So Nate's up 1-0 in this game. Again, this is probably an elimination match for the top cut. Now, as I don't know if any 2-2s are going to end up making it. I don't think so, with 14 people. If I lie later, you won't know. But we'll see what the choice is for Juilio. Plenty of incentive to switch it up a little bit. The Incinerator did get a bit of work done, at least in theory, but I mean, the Fluttermane didn't really get to do anything. The Landorus was kind of in too late to get to accomplish anything. There's a lot of fake-outs available, and while not a lot of fake-out targets exist on Nate's team, there's a lot of Protect, there's a Covert Cloak, there's an Inner Focus, there's a Ghost type. It's still potentially an option. I'm curious what the choice will be. I am curious what the choice will be. And if Nate wants to switch up anything, because we did see all 4 of Nate's Pokemon last time. We saw the Corner Pun and the Raging Bolt did not show. We will see the locks there and get into game number 2 here. Nate up 1-0 in this set with the funny Skiddo. Always love seeing the Skiddo. Same leads from Nate, the Torn and the Fluttermane. And the same lead as that on Juilio's side. Torn and Fluttermane on both sides. Now, I don't believe we saw the exact speed matchups between the two Fluttermanes last time. I want to say Nate's was generally faster. And if it is, then Nate could just go for Tailwind, Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam. But do you want to risk everything on that? I'm curious about the play. Because you also know there are no Protects available here. So if you do think you are faster, you will just be able to launch. Getting down to the last second here for Juilio. Going to go for an interesting lock there. We get the Terra from Nate. Is that Terra Fairy on the Fluttermane? Getting a little bit scary. A lot of damage coming in. Torn Tailwind, number 1. Will the other Torn match? The other Torn will not match. Power Gem comes through onto the Torn. It takes it, though. Takes the hit. And now the Moonblast coming out of Fluttermane into the opposing Fluttermane. Does a real nice chunk of damage. And the follow-up Bleak Wind should pick up the KO if it hits. It misses the Torn, but it hits the Flutter. And so the double-up will take out the Fluttermane. And so that's Flutter for a lot of Torn's HP, which is a fantastic trade on Nate's end, I would have to say. Now you can pretty comfortably go for a Tailwind and just hit in the Urshifu. I mean, the Urshifu is Terra Fire, actually, so it would be able to Terra out of a weakness here. But ooh, this is awkward. Ooh, you could also go for a taunt here from Juilio into the Torn. I think that's the best call here, actually, because then you stop the Tailwind from getting up. Ooh, but you can Aqua Jet as well. Oh, this is close. This is interesting. Oh, so many decisions to make. I think Juilio made those calls a little bit too late, because I think if you knew you were going to protect the Urshifu, you would want to go for the taunt from the Torn right here, so that you can then get the Rain Dance up afterwards. Because now, ooh, the Sunny Day going the other way! Wow! Nate calling out the Rain Dance and going for the Sunny Day just to overwrite it, getting the speed boost on the Fluttermane, getting that Dazzling Gleam down onto the Torn. Is this going to KO? It does a lot of damage. Okay, it does like half. Don't treat it too seriously. Don't treat the Fluttermane damage too seriously. It's a lot of damage, but it's not that much damage. But that's still a really healthy chunk, and with, I mean, you probably have to maintain the Terra on the Urshifu. Oh, this is tough. This is a tough call for Juilio. You have to make some big call here. And Nate really does, and Nate can kind of go for a Tailwind or a Bleak Wind or kind of whatever, knowing that you're not that afraid of what's kind of coming from the other end here. especially knowing that Nate has 2 Pokemon in the back. Torn is going to switch out here on Juilio's side. Landorus comes in. Landorus will take a big chunk here. Urshifu will Terrastalize. That is the Terra Fire Urshifu. Have to imagine it's mostly for this specific matchup. As well as for Grass, I suppose. Let's go for the Aqua Jet in the sun against the Tornadus, not enough to KO, and that might just be it. Tailwind gets down, and that means that the Flutter Mane is going to be unstoppably strong at this point. Got the Tailwind behind it as well. Big damage into the Landorus with that Dazzling Gleam. And this has gotten really, really awkward now for Juilio. 3 turns of Tailwind remaining on Nate's side. Still plenty of that speed control available, and really nothing stopping Nate from just going for Dazzling Gleam Bleak Wind. It'll take out the Landorus, and it'll probably... I mean, if it's not an Aqua Jet into the Torn to try to finish it off, it should be pretty solid damage there as well. Like, it should get the Urshifu if Urshifu does not take out the Torn here. Ooh, and I don't know about that call. I feel like Juilio's getting a little bit in his own head kind of late in these turns, because there's the Dazzling Gleam. If the Bleak Wind hits the Urshifu, I think that should be a double KO here. We'll see the big damage there. Makes the town do 67 HP. And the Bleak Wind follow-up? Blocked by the Protect. Will it hit the Urshifu? It does not hit the Urshifu. That is big for Juilio. Should still, Flutter Mane, yeah, should still easily take that Surging Strikes. In the sun, yeah, it's certainly going to take that. You know, it's barely over half. Would get a one-hit KO out of the sun, but now Tailwind is off. And the problem now is that there's very little stopping Nate from going for another Dazzling Gleam to just pick up the Urshifu. And if the Urshifu's down, I mean, remember, there are still 2 Pokemon in the back for Nate. Nate is still using his leads. They've just been handling everything in this set. Landorus going for a double Protect, not going to get it. And that means after the Aqua Jet picks up the Torn, this nice little KO there for Juilio. But afterwards, a Dazzling Gleam, it'll certainly pick up the Landorus. Does it get the Urshifu as well? It should be close. 3 HP remaining on the Urshifu, but not enough to KO. But the problem is, I believe we're going to be seeing the priority guys now. Yep, there's the Entei. And there's really nothing Juilio can do about this Entei. There's really nothing Juilio can do about Extreme Speed. His E-Speed should finish off the... well, it'll certainly finish off the Urshifu the first time it does not Protect. I think the only thing you could do is try to just Bleak Wind the Entei while protecting the Urshifu, but even then, if you Bleak Wind, Flutter drops Torn. This is a really, really well-played match by Nate, and the lead is just such a good matchup for Nate and has been handling so much in this set. We'll see the Urshifu Protect here. But then the Extreme Speed. Ooh, and the Extreme Speed targeted the Torn. That is a bold little call. But knowing that it's not really going to matter because the Dazzling Gleam will come through as well. And now, you know for sure that the Extreme Speed can only target the Urshifu. The Urshifu has 3 HP remaining. The Extreme Speed goes ahead of the Aqua Jet, remember. Even with Tailwind down, doesn't matter. Extreme Speed will go ahead of Aqua Jet. There's really no way out of this for Juilio, and that'll mean that Nate will be the winner here. He'll move up to 2-1 on the day. There's the Extreme Speed. 2-1 for Nate. He keeps himself in the running for this tournament here. In the running for points at the challenge. And yeah, just really well played around the Torn and the Flutter. It's kind of weird sets on both. You have Protects on both of them. You have no Shadow Ball on Flutter, but does mean you have the Taunt available for Flutter main, and you have Sunny Day available, which really helped in resetting the Rain Dance. And you have the Tailwind plus the Bleak Wind, you have the Dazzling Gleam and the Moonblast. There's just a lot of damage out of the Flutter main, and if you're not a team that's really prepared to take a lot of fairy damage, I mean, this is not a great format for you in general, but in any case, we will take a quick break, and we will be back with the final round of Swiss, round number 4. Don't go anywhere.